How to pitch client for digital marketing. My name is Quan, and I have learned and mastered the art of pitching to people, and I've trained a lot of my employees to do the same as well. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you how I have personally learned this, and just like you guys when you started, I was there, stumbling on my word, took way too long to do a pitch, and I was not confident when I was selling at all. So, I'm going to show you in today's video exactly how I got better at pitching and how you or your employee can as well. First thing you gotta understand is their problems. You must know their life, what they want, and who they pitch to, who's your competition before you ever speak to them or before you even make a pitch to them. You must put yourself in their shoes. So right now, what I'm doing is working out somewhat, okay? So my problem would be, hey, I gotta get leaner, toner, I gotta diet. Let's take that for example. If you are someone who has never worked out in your life and you have never learned the difficulty of dieting or working out, then you can't help them. That is why I like to do something like I call chameleon marketing, which is when you put yourself in a situation, in their situation, to the point that you understand. Some people have done this to extreme, where if they have client in Mexico, they actually go out in Mexico's and speak to a local, see how their lingo is, and see and kind of understand their client a bit more, and that helped them relate to client better. And only then, once you understand their problem, they have 1,000 problems, and you need to be the solution for it. So if you don't understand the problem, you can't provide their solution. That brings us to step number two, reliability. And if you haven't worked out, if you haven't attained your dream body, you can't show them that you can solve it. So, for example, if you go to the dentist, would you prefer to have a dentist with a horrible teeth than a dentist with perfect teeth? No, most people would prefer the one with the perfect teeth. It's just like you can't show them a flower feel if you yourself has lived in it for the rest of your life. You must show that you have stepped in the shit and have gotten out of it and grow yourself some flower. People like to work with people who has the same problem as themselves. So create a common ground for agreement. So something that I've been doing is like for my pitch, I was like, what type of businesses you typically target and what type of problem that you have doing it? And they were like, hey, yeah, email hasn't been working for me. I've tried a lot of other cold calling company and they just haven't been providing me a lot of quality. Like, yeah, I've been there before, man. I have tried multiple different campaign. I've done email marketing. I've spent thousands of dollars on data, and I have found that all these solutions, this one worked the best. Bring them their reliability, and then deliver them the solution, so they can trust that you have walked that process, and you can show them the same way. So that brings us to step number three. To really pitch to someone, you obviously need to have a solution. So how exactly do you pitch a solution? So let me tell you this. There are ways that I have found to come up with my solution. So first thing first, I do the problem, understand their problem, bring relatability, so they can kind of be in the same mindset. You guys are on the same page. Then from there, you think up in your mind like, how do I solve this problem? So for example, if I say, hey, I don't get enough client. What I like to do is ask them why. A lot of why. So I don't get enough client. Why? I haven't done enough outreach. Why do you think you haven't done enough outreach? I say, because I don't have time to do enough outreach. Why don't you have enough time? Because I have a family to do, and I have uh, work that I have to pursue. And I can't focus on doing more outreach. Why? So just the more why that you have, the more reason for you to come to for you to explain to them. So for example, if you only dig to like two depth deep, your solution will be like, hey, I can help you get more client by doing more outreach. That you would solve two more of their problem for them, but they can't really understand third step, which they what they really want to be solved, which is having more time for their family and for their work. So then your pitch would be, your solution would be, hey, I can do more outreach for you so you can spend more time with your family and focus on the work that you really want to work on. And once you learn the person solution, and once you get paid for that solution, you can pitch that solution to basically everyone and anyone in that industry who are in the similar demographic or have the similar problems. Once you have convinced them that you has the same problem as them before and you have found a solution to get out of it, step number four is to convince them that you will take on most of the risk. So you must take away their risk. People hate risk. They hate having their skin in the game. A lot of people say like, "Hey, I like to have my skin in the game." Blah 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 blah. No, what they mean is that they like to have control, but they don't like to have any risk associated to them. So what I want you to do is add a guaranteed that allows people to feel safe when they purchase your product or your service. So let's take Amazon for example. One thing that they do is they guarantee refund no matter what happened. So that's their guarantee. So no matter how much people will buy their stuff, they will know that hey, and if in 30 days I don't like it, 30 days is a lot of time. In 30 days, if I don't like it, I can just give them back. And Amazon will take on the risk of handling, shipping, and Amazon will take on the risk of having the product. You must allow yourself to take on more risk than your client. So some of the guarantee I do like, hey, if you don't like your product in 30 days or so, I will guarantee a full refund and we will work with you for free until you get your guaranteed result. That's one of my guaranteed. And the more risks that you can take on. So for example, this is something I'm doing right now. It's fairly risky for me because what I'm doing is that I'm working fully on commission and I'm guaranteed them that they will get a client and they will get listing in exchange for this sort of compensation once that occur. So in the long term, I'll get paid way more because I'm taking on more risk at the start. Add guaranteed. So it's I can't really say what guaranteed will work for everyone, but it would just be on yourself to kind of figure out how much risk you're willing to take on. And the more risk that you take on for your client, the less likely for them to say no. So number 5 is once you have it's objection handling. What I like to do is I don't really want to get to this step at all, because once you have done the pitch and I say, okay, I have a question for you, those are objection. And what I want you to do is pre-handle the objection before. So maybe before this, you ask, hey, are you the decision maker? Hey, are you in a position that you can make this um, payment if it come to it? So it doesn't waste your time and their time. But sometimes you just don't have the skill to clear most of the objection handling. Then you have to handle it after you make your pitch. So my tip for you is always to diffuse a situation. They will always come out as super aggressive at the start because they're feeling like that you're stealing their money. Um, that's why they have the objection to begin with. So what I always say is like, hey, I understand, man. I understand that you can't pay for this amount at the moment, but, or say, and w- wouldn't you agreed if we were to provide you this result, would that worth the price? Some people will mostly say yes, and that first initial yes is your ticket to closing them. So essentially, how this work, what I found is that you must get the client to say 3 yes. So first, we like, hey, is it because you don't like the product or you actually don't have the money to do so? You kind of narrow down on what their problem they have. Okay, they say, I don't like the product, or hey, I don't have the money. Okay, if currently right now you're in a position where you can't make enough sales, and sooner or later that problem won't improve, how do you expect yourself to make more money? They're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll find a cheaper alternative or something like that. Then you'll be like, hey, uh wouldn't you agreed if we were to work with you and we get you the result instead of you wasting time going out and finding new people, and you can't guarantee that they can do the work that we can do? Wouldn't you agree that if we were to get you a result, it is worth your money? They say yes, and they're like, okay, how about this? If it is possible, can we show you that we can get you the result? And once you see that we can get you the result, then we can have the further conversation of moving to the contract. They say yes, and then you just send them a contract from there on or something like that. Show them testimonial. Show them if that you can do their work. Which is why that I like to just straight out off the bat to say, hey, I'll create the system for you. I'll work for you for a month or so, and I'll get you client. If you don't get client by the end of the month, uh, you don't have to pay. I take on most of the risk. So that's pretty much it. You just close them up, send them a contract as soon as possible, follow up with them as soon as possible, and that is a core fundamental of pitching your client for digital marketing or any services that you have. And if you spend every day focusing on learning each of the step, I guarantee you that you close more client that than you could ever handle, and I guarantee that. So, if you want me and my team to help you build a system where you get 5 to 10 client a month, guaranteed automatically, and you don't have to pay me any retainer, just book a call with me below or check out my free course. Other than that, later.